One. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very professional stream that we've got going on, a very professional screen share. So this is the CAPS Collective. This is a group of students, a group of alumni from the Bachelor of Science in Games Development and a Bachelor of Science in IT.
I'm software engineering, technically. Software
engineering, okay. So all over the UTS IT degrees. These students made this original project. It was called Ozymandias. You can actually go find it in the Autumn Showcase website from last year, from 2020, and they've been working on it since. And yeah, they recently have been putting it on Steam and pushing ahead with it. So it's really exciting to see how far this has come along. So I'll leave you to it, guys.
That's great. Thanks for the introduction. Unfortunately, we weren't able to share our audio properly through this stream, so Jonathan's agreed to just beatbox throughout the whole thing. But yeah, so this is Fantasy Town Regional Manager. We have been working on this, on and off as a bit of a hobby throughout the past year, and it's been just really exciting to see how we've managed to take this small little idea that we were building, in GDS1 and make a full game out of it that's actually on Steam. Look, we've got the overlay and everything. So yeah, we've recently been releasing a demo through Steam Next Fest. So there was a showcase where there was a bunch of demos, and that was like really exciting. And we got a bunch of demo people playing and feedback, and people have been uploading the playthroughs on YouTube and stuff like that. And it's just been a wild time. Do we want to talk a bit about some of the changes that we've made over the past year? Why don't one of you all start?
Well, we have changed the UI a lot. I had nothing to do with that, so I can't really tell you about it. But I added grass, which is really cool, and I'm insanely proud of that. It really makes the world come to life.
I think the big difference is updates to the UI. We've really tried to streamline the process and make it clearer for new players. Previously, things were very bulky and heavy, and you kind of had to really understand how everything worked before you could start playing it properly. Whereas now we've tried to streamline things a little.
I think what we consistently forget about the big changes that have happened since we were running this as part of GDS1 was that we kind of realized that the mechanics lent themselves very well. We had buttons on the bottom for the buildings that you select. It took us a while to figure it out, but we'd actually built a
collectible card game, basically.
Card game, yeah.
Because the whole idea is that you unlock new buildings over time, and the buildings have discrete values and placement costs and stuff like that. Yeah, so it plays perfectly with kind of this card system. So we were using a bunch of we used a tweening library and built up some nice little animations for the cards. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
We really leaned into it, and I think now the best elevator pitch that we can give for the game is it's a town builder, but it's also a collectible card game, and that crossover twist is a hook unto itself.
Yeah, that's a good point. So for people who are new to the whole experience of what this game is, who haven't seen it previously, effectively we're building a game where you're managing the town that would take place in an MMORPG or a Skyrim or one of those classic fantasy adventures. D&D comes to mind. A lot of the stories and things that we've told through it have just been D&D adventures gone awry that we've turned into these little newspaper events.
It started as a fun writing exercise, and now it has turned into the dreaded slog of writing hundreds and hundreds of these newspaper articles. We have over 200 unique articles at this point in time, and we're going to need a lot more going towards release.
Yeah,
so most of this... you go. Yep. I was going to say, pretty much most of what you're seeing, we did do in GDS1, by the way. It's a lot of background stuff that we did after that, and a little bit of the aesthetics on the buildings and the grass. But pretty much the majority of the game was created in GDS1, which is really fun.
Yeah, a lot of these buildings
Well,
have
also...
been remodeled as well, which I think is a big change. There's a lot of differentiation and kind of stylistic choices, like the little anvils and stuff. Aria?
Yeah, well, it's also worth noting that the game also took a change in like overall vision and design, like after GDS 1. So, for example, it was called Ozymandias beforehand, because the whole concept of the game was that basically your town would be destroyed constantly and you'd have to rebuild it over and over again, and it was sort of like this roguelite element over that. And over time, that's the reason why we sort of made the change to Fantasy Town regional managers, because like it didn't fully reflect what the game was actually doing. The name Ozymandias, we wanted to go to more of like a light-hearted sort of tone with it. So a lot of mechanics have changed for that. So I think earlier on it was more about managing different resources, but now we've changed that to be focused on different heroes and different sort of adventures that you might get and how they interact with each other. So there are a couple of design things that also changed for the game as well.
We also changed the name partially because of search engine optimization, we should be honest. There's a lot of other things called Ozymandias out there.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we recently put this this demo up at Next Fest, and we got a little bit of traction, and that has been a fun experience, but it has not been the most fun to get there. Taking this on beyond GDS 1 is a little bit different because you don't really have that organized time in your schedule to be working on this. So you have to figure out where in your life, taking a game to completion goes. And as they say, nobody ever tells you that when you make a game, you actually have to finish it.
Yeah, we've really tried to make reserve sort of like a few hours on the weekend or after work sometimes and stuff like that to kind of dedicate to it. But yeah, drumming up that motivation when you don't have marks and stuff like that, like when you don't actually have it like being graded every 2 weeks, definitely means you have to have more self-motivation.
That's actually a really, really interesting insight, and I think it's one that applies to games and every project and everything, especially when you're doing a startup or making your own business or so forth. It's really about that motivation, that will to keep going on and not having someone looking over your shoulder. And it's one of those hard things that even you take for granted in a standard job, that you may have a manager that's always giving you tasks, doing those daily tasks, keeping you motivated to keep working through it. But when you have to decide your own tasks, decide your own priorities and your own project, and it's years in the making, it can be very hard. So the fact that you guys have continued working on this and found time out of your busy careers to keep iterating on it and keep improving on it is a testament to your determination.
Yeah, thanks. I think the other thing is also, when we first finished, Game Development Studio, we said to ourselves, like, oh, what, there's probably only like 20% tops left. Like, we were like, we're 80% to a full release. And here's the thing, we weren't wrong about that. Like, we were 80% in terms of features, but that last 20%, like, you don't realize how much that is. Because it's all that polish work, like really making it feel like a proper game, getting it to like a sales ready. Even like a lot of the stuff, like we've learned how to like manage a social media account and stuff. Like none of us have really done that before. Yeah. We've learned how to set up DevOps pipelines to push the games to Steam.
Oh my god. Getting this thing up on Steam and understanding how to deal with that. We actually had to do a hotfix during Next Fest when we had German and French players contacting us saying that the game broke.
Yeah, this is a fantastic story.
Specifically because of localization issues. Who would have known?
There was a bug where it just would not run for specifically French people.
Yeah.
Lest we forget the M1 bug with the M1 chip that has a hilarious solution.
Yeah. So with that localization issue, the problem was that different languages pass like decimal points differently. So sometimes they use commas or else they put spacing differently. And what was happening is the save file was trying to read it in German or in French, and because we had written it in English, it was freaking out.
Yeah. So all the minor polish things that you don't even stop to think about when you start to release. globally.
Well, you have to start supporting platforms and having that pipeline together and understanding how your ticketing process works and how you're going to be able to make sure that your release runs on at least like 80% of people's computers is a challenge that you don't really think about when you're going through the subject.
Awesome. Well, I might have to stop it there, but thank you very much for coming back and sharing. And with all these showcases, if you have more updates, come and show us again.
That's
I love
great.
seeing how this game progresses every single time.
Thanks
and
for the time.
All the students that are currently in the room, if you do something similar and you become alumni of UTS and you keep working on a project, whether it's in games or any of your other IT subjects, please let us know. We are very proud of our students and our alumni. So if you have something to show, let us know.
One last point that I would love to say is if other students are looking to do something similar of, publishing their games or getting things out there, we are super open to, having a chat, talking about some of the learnings we've had. We've really learned a few things the hard way, and our biggest goal is that we want to take the stuff that we've learned and help other students and other up-and-comers, get to where they should be going.
Fantastic. That's really cool. If you haven't already done so, please jump into the YouTube chat, and if you have a contact details for the Caps Collective, post it in there. Just so people can get in contact
Wishlisted on Steam. There we go. That's it.
Yeah, we got to get that plug in there real quick. Yeah, wishlist us, please. Follow us on Twitter.
Yep. Go to Steam, wishlist it, download the demo if it's still available. All of that helps these guys out. So thank you very much, guys. And we have one more project, and then we'll get to the winners of the showcase.
Bye.
See you guys.